Hi, I'm Vivian. I'm from Portland, Oregon, and now I live in Maribor. And to be honest, and no offense, the first time I heard of Maribor, Slovenia, I had no idea what it was, and I had to Google it. But here I am, and what brought me here today were basically two major decisions I made in the last year. So I was working at Nike for 8.5 years, the shoe company that makes shoes that make you run faster. I was working there as a video editor for 8.5 years, and when I first started, I just got out of school, so it was a really good opportunity for someone who just graduated, even though I knew that the job is not exactly what I wanted to do. I thought that it was a great experience, and I would just do it for a couple of years, get that on my CV, and do something better. And it turned out that Nike is a really great place to work for. They really take care of their employees, and I made some friends. So 2 years came by, and I was like, I can do this a little longer. This is not so bad. So I stayed, and 2 years turned into 3, and 3 into 4. And the next thing I knew, I was looking at my 10-year sabbatical down the road. And that really shocked me into reality, because at that time, for a couple years by then, I already had these voices in my head where it's telling me that I shouldn't be so comfortable here. I should do something about what I wanted to do for real. And I shouldn't be so satisfied being where I was. But every time those voices come up, I just kind of push it down. And I push it down to something that's like me being ungrateful or spoiled because this is a great job. So I keep pushing it down until one point it's gotten so loud that I couldn't ignore it anymore. So at that time, I knew I had to make a decision. And imagine if you have to make the same decision, where on one hand, you have this whole world that you've known, that you've worked on for my whole adult life, basically. And it's fine and it's okay, but it's not exactly what I wanted to do. And I was not happy, and I was feeling more and more unsatisfied every day. And I felt like I was being suffocated, and that was really scary to me. And on the other hand, there's this whole world of unknown, of uncertainty, and I don't know what's out there or what's going to happen to me if I go. But to me, the part that is predictable and that I can foresee me being more and more unhappy, that was scarier to me. So I decided to make a leap. And so I made the leap and I quit my job. And I wanted to pursue a freelance illustration career. But before that, I wanted to do another thing that I've always wanted to do, which was traveling around the world alone. So I did that, and I booked a ticket first to Southeast Asia. And so when I was in Southeast Asia, I was traveling around, and I was in Thailand, and I met this guy who was also traveling. And we hung out as travelers. We kind of met up. We hung out, rode our scooter around the island, and we got some beer on the beach, and everything was great. But at the end of the 2 days, we had to leave or had to part ways because our travel plans. And we didn't know if we were going to ever see each other again, because he's from Maribor, Slovenia, and I'm from Portland, Oregon, and that's like two ends of the world to me. So I knew that we had a good time and we really liked each other, but we don't know if we're ever going to see each other again. But we kept writing each other, and thanks to modern technology, we were able to keep in touch throughout my whole length of my trip, basically, which is about 6 months. And at the end of that, we really grew on each other. So I decided I would come to Slovenia for a month to see how things go and what would happen if we hang out more. And so I came here, and that month, I really fell in love with Maribor and the guy. And but alas, I had to go home at the end of that. So I went home to Portland. when I got home, I knew that this is a time where I had to make another decision. And so this time I made a purely emotional decision, and I bought a one-way ticket to Slovenia with no return date or no other plans. And that is why I'm here talking to you today. And by no means is the end of my story. This is a journey, but all of this reminded me of this experience I had when I was traveling in Laos. I was at this waterfall, and at the bottom of the waterfall, there's this beautiful blue-green lagoon. And I was standing at the edge of this tree stump about to jump in. And when I was standing there, I had all these thoughts going through my mind, like my biggest fear in life is drowning. And so I don't know why I was standing there in the first place. But I was there, and then I was like, what if I fall in, and what if it hurts? The water is going to be so cold, and what if I drowned? So I have all these doubts. But on the other hand, there was another voice that told me, why not just jump in and see what happens? And so I did, and as soon as I jumped in the water, everything was fine, and the water was warm, and I felt awesome, and that's when this epiphany came to me, where I realized that you can't really go wrong when you're making decisions, and the worst thing you can do is not making one at all. And since I worked at Nike, I might as well leave you with this: just do it. Thank you.